Oh, am I live? What's going on? Why does it say that? Hey, can you guys hear me? Did I hit the live button and not even realize it? Nice. Yeah, they're new. All right, awesome. I don't know how I pulled that shit off, but welcome. All right, today's going to be a fun day. So, lots of Bitcoin stuff, which I think is really perfect. We've got underneath the ticker down here, we have Cleanspark on the top. We've got Mara underneath of it. You can see they're both dropping into the day. So, we're going to be looking at that. How long was I going? Can you guys tell me how long I've been running? Anyway, whatever. Whatever. All right. So there's a lot to go through. So you scratching your butt. Sweet. Maybe I'll edit that part out later. 20 minutes? All right, fuck off. You guys are horrible. You were only on for like a minute. Okay, thank you. Thank you for somebody being nice and honest. All right, so today, like I said, it's going to be amazing. I've got CleanSpark in front of us right now. If you look at this chart, you look at the revenue growth in Q1 versus Q4 of 2023, it's beautiful. You look at the net income growth, it's beautiful. You look at the cash on hand, it's beautiful. Yes, there's dilution, but again, these guys are funded to 50 exahash with their plan, and we like that. So the one we really have a question about is down here with Mara, down at the bottom. We want to know if that's going to pop. The data is going to be released, so keep an eye on it. Outside of that, though, there's so many good things happening in the world of Bitcoin. We'll go over them. The conference call for this one is going to be in 30 minutes. So we're going to rush through some macro stuff and then we're going to get into that, okay? If you guys could, though, if you could hit the likes, it's greatly appreciated. There's 189-ish people here already. If you could hit the like button, again, it helps me a lot. So if you're here, you should probably try and be supportive. Unless you're an asshole, in which case, like I've said many times, please go ahead and still hit the like just to participate. All right. So here's the deal. I actually had, I would say, let me just zoom in here, probably flat on the day, which is a nice change of pace from losing, six figures every day. So I don't hate it at all. Tesla was down today, but again, Bitcoin's looking strong. We're going to look at a bunch of charts. We got a bunch of information on Bitcoin. It's all really beautiful. And I'm very excited about where we're at. And yeah, so I was down in this portfolio, but my other portfolios with Bitcoin related investments that don't have, the option plays like Tesla, PayPal, SoFi, um, DLO, like these kind of things fared really good today. So that actually brought me up into positive territory. And you can see some of that too on the Coinbase, where today, I'm sitting around the 262,000 level, which is great. Oh, so many things to talk about. We're going to go into the macro here in a second. I just want to go through the indices. Let's do that. So if you look here across the map, it's actually, and let me just change the size of this a little bit. I should have adjusted this one. If you look here, it's actually not too bad today. We're seeing a lot of green. NVIDIA and Tesla getting hit. And then again, some of this technology service sector, like this, the Salesforces and Oracles and Adobe and IBM and all these things getting hit. But all in all, a pretty good day across most of the indices. We'll look at that in a second. But first, let's look at the crypto heat map. Again, green, love it. Now, this is bouncing quicker than just like, some of the derivatives, like, or I should say more powerfully than like, some of the micro strategies and others. We'll look at those in a second, though. Actually, you know what? I want to jump into that real quick. So let's just look at Bitcoin and do this a little different. So again, one of the things I like here is that we're getting bouncy again, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this chart because I have so many charts to show you that show how positive we are. So I should probably skip this for now. Let's go to MicroStrategy, see how that closed for the day. Up 2.48%. Not bad, not bad. But again, if we look over here, at Solana, it was up 5.79%. So 2.48 is okay, but not great. Let's look at CleanSpark. CleanSpark closed up 1.34, 0.6 in after hours. It's not really a great move, but I think we're getting above that fib, that .618, pretty quick here. Mara, as you can see here, it's trying to go higher. It's still above the 200 moving average. I think it's going to make a run to the .382, around the 24.90, 25 range. I think that's coming soon. And then Cypher had a bounce back day. And when you drop as much as it did over a course of a couple of days, it's not too crazy for that to happen. Let me just zoom back here. This thing's kind of a mess. There you go. So we're above, again, key volumes. It's a great place to be. I just don't love the story as much around Cypher. I still have 6 figures in it, but it's just not as compelling as it was before their earnings call. Anyway, let's jump over here. We'll go through the rest of the macro super fast. So let's go to the S&P. The S&P is up 0.51% on the day, again, above that fib level. And this just looks like such a bullish chart. I said that when we were down in the 100 here. We needed to make sure that we broke up higher and got above the fib and that we didn't bear flag where it goes like this, flags out for a while, then all of a sudden rolls down under the 100 moving average. It did not do that. We found that strength. And tomorrow's Friday, guys. If we could stay above this fib level, that's probably a pretty good sign for the S&P. All right, NASDAQ. Again, looking bullish. We're above all these peak volumes. We just got to get above the .618. This looks more bullish than the S&P. It's bounced so much harder. And if it gets above the .618 at the end of the week or even just right to it, the chance of breaking out and establishing a new high on the NASDAQ is, at least the 100, is very, very possible heading into next week. Very possible. Heck, maybe it happens tomorrow. I don't know. Russell up 0.9% on the day, again, above its fib level and looking to find strength. These are levels, and we're finding support zones here that the Russell hasn't found in a very long time. Again, it's much more depressed than the S&P and the NASDAQ, and it's looking good too. The dollar today dropped 0.26%. I told you, I think we're going to chop for a while. That story has been pretty true. This is chop, guys. This is chop. It's just going along the side. It's not doing anything. It's what we want to see. It's how markets go higher. Let's real quickly move on to bonds too and just look at those while we're here. I need to adjust these. Bond volatility, flat. That's beautiful. We love it. 2-year bond, the one everybody worries about, dropped 0.58% on the day. That's great. We want to see that. The gold, our favorite metal, it actually went up today, 1.56. I don't know why that is. If anybody has a good idea, let me know. It's a scarce asset, I suppose, so why not? I mean, honestly, Bitcoin's going up too, so why don't both of them? All right, oil. Oil got a little bit of a bid today, but it's kind of doing what I thought it was going to. I think we rejected the 200 moving average right up here where we start to find previous support. I think it's going to turn into resistance along with this brownish gold 200 moving average. And I think what we're going to do is bear flag and then drop lower, just like we did up here. Again, we had the descending triangle, bearish. We had this go down, break down hard, hit the 50 moving average, try and turn that into support, create a bear flag, drop down, completed this measured move, drop through previous support, going all the way back to, what time frame is this? Way back. December. So, and then it broke underneath of that. Now it's trying to hold on to its last support out of the 50, the 100, and the 200 moving average on the daily time frame. And if it rejects at the 200, then it'll break down even further. And I think we're going to the 75 range. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right. Hey, guys, I don't know if you looked at the tickers, but we're seeing Mara and Cleanspark both going up. We can't hate that. We can't hate that at all. Let's look at the inversion on the bond. Yep, they're both moving. Yeah, Mara's getting even more of a bid. Mara's up 3%. Cleanspark's up half that. Like I said, Mara, it's got 4%. So, like I said, Mara's going to play catch up, guys. It's really beat up. So let's see how it does here. So far, though, they're climbing. Let's see what happens. I'll check data on Mara here in just a second. So let me just look here. So the inversion is flattening out. It looks like it could break down even more. That would be great. It just means less pressure. We don't want it to invert or uninvert. Yen, Japanese yen versus the dollar, down 0.05. So that the Japanese yen gains strength against the dollar. That's great. We love that. We have about 23 minutes until earnings. We'll see which one is more interesting. Right now, Mara up 4%, Cleanspark up almost 2%. Again, Mara has some catch up to do, guys. So if one of these is going to jump more than the other one, I think it could be Mara, and we might bounce between these two. I've got both of them pulled up. Let me just keep moving though. I'm going to see if I can get through Tesla and the rest of this stuff. Yeah, actually, let me get to Bitcoin. This is the important part. This is what I want to talk about. Even if we miss a little Tesla's getting beat up for stupid shit. That's all you need to know. Real quickly, we're going to listen to one of our senators.
I was recognized.
We're going to listen to one of our senators talking about an SEC ruling, and this is all very important stuff. He can do his thing. I'll add my dialogue here in a second. 1 second.
For 3 minutes.
Well, thank Chairman McHenry and thank Congressman Flood of Nebraska for this excellent work in this Congressional Review Act resolution to roll back the SEC's failure in their staff accounting bulletin 121. It would reshape the business of custody in this country. This is not just about crypto. This is a sweeping rule that the SEC has implemented without following the Administrative Procedures Act. The GO says it's a rule. Well, if it's a rule, it needs to go through the Administrative Procedures Act and have a comment period and get people involved, because as Ranking Member Waters noted, they did not consult with the banking regulators who have the primary role of supervising custody in this country. A custodian is someone who holds your assets for you, whether it's shares of stock or acres of forest land, a rental house, or 10 Bitcoin. Holding reserves against the assets in custody is not standard financial services practice. This staff accounting bulletin is misguided. It requires that money be set aside for that category of assets, of digital assets in custody. It's part of a broader attack by the Biden administration to treat digital assets differently from all other assets. And that doesn't make any sense to House Republicans. Under Mr. McHenry's leadership and Mr. Thompson's leadership of the Ag Committee, we have a fit-for-purpose approach that, in fact, directs the SEC and the CFTC how to handle digital assets. Unfortunately, this accounting bulletin is in the wrong direction. That's why we have the Congressional Review Act. That's why we're using Article I authority under the Constitution to say this is the wrong direction and that we will all come to this House floor and say it should be repealed and sent back. And I would remind my friends on the other side of the aisle, senior Biden official, Vice Chairman Barr of the Fed, Acting Comptroller Sue, all testified before our committee. They were not consulted by the SEC about this staff accounting bulletin. It is a significant change. It is a rule. It should have gone to the Administrative Procedures Act to be out for public comment. That's why I thank the gentleman from Nebraska for leading the charge on this important resolution. I urge adoption, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back.
I'm sorry. There are some good politicians out there. Congressman French Hill, thank you very much for your service and making the SEC accountable to follow the law of the land. We very much appreciate you. Go after these motherfuckers and get them. All right, Thomas from Hey Apollo. I love this guy so much. He said, Biden says he'll veto the final pieces of Saylor's $5 million catalyst for Bitcoin. So in case you guys don't know, Michael Saylor was talking a while back, and he said in 2022, he said, there were three catalysts for Bitcoin that would take the price to $5 million in the years ahead. He said, one, we would have a spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Now we have them all over the world. I think that's actually been better than what he anticipated. Two, we would have fair value accounting rules from FASB that I keep talking about that some stupid fucking people seem to think is not impactful on companies. It is. Three, bank custody and lend against Bitcoin as collateral. So Congress passed a bill enabling this today. Biden wants to veto it. Trump will support it. Depending upon what your priorities are in life, I am not a Trump person. I don't like the motherfucker at all. I will vote for him if I have to get Biden out of office, if this is the kind of shit we're going to continue to see. If he's going to be attacking people like Elon Musk, companies that are making the world a better place, that are lowering the barrier of entry for all kinds of things in this world, that are making paraplegics walk and putting 90% of our fucking payloads into space and single-handedly transitioning the world to EVs while making it to where they're using renewable energy at the same time, while allowing people that can't move on their own the ability to have autonomy and the potential of being able to replace human labor as a factor for humanity to have to do to be able to survive. If you don't respect that shit, get the fuck out. I'll vote him out in a heartbeat. He is the greater of two evils right now, if he's even running the show. And I'm not a political person. I voted for the motherfucker, so I have a right to say whatever I want. All right. There's that. That was interesting. Let me see. I want to go back one. Actually, let's go down here. So that's interesting. If you like political stuff, take a look. Sorry for the starter rants. It's going to be a good one again today. All right, Ash Crypto says Grayscale has stopped selling Bitcoin. Bitcoin ETF flows are becoming positive. Hong Kong ETFs are buying Bitcoin, and we know that mainland can buy them. Not everybody, but most of them, or I should say a lot of them. And then we're looking at a bill being passed potentially there where it will allow a lot more people to buy into Bitcoin. And then Donald Trump is planning to accept it for donations. He likes it now all of a sudden, which is funny. But whatever, I don't give a shit. Here's the one thing I can respect about him is usually when he says he's going to take a stance on something, he ends up doing it. Now, he does whiffle back and forth every once in a while, but a lot of the major objectives that he pointed towards in his last administration, of which a lot of them I didn't even like, some I did, right, because I'm not really political, he at least stuck by them. So, unlike Biden. And I don't dislike Biden on everything. I don't want to digress. I don't want to talk about politics anymore. My whole point is he's supporting it. He's going to get my vote as long as he continues to take that approach. I think Vivek was probably a good thing for him at least. Argentina will soon start mining Bitcoin. That seems kind of important. This was the country that could have been the United States of America and still could be a great country. And maybe a country that ends up helping turn the northern and Southern American regions of this world into something that are more democratic, working together and building strength off of each other to, I don't know, make the West a great force again, or at least make democracy a great force. Not that we're all good at managing things, but we're a hell of a lot better than communism top-down approaches or socialistic approaches that sound good on paper and have the best intentions and then destroy their countries all at the same time, like Argentina went through for 100 fucking years. A little less than that. But I mean, they used to be a great country, and over 100 years they got destroyed. Now they're starting over, and they're doing it in a big way. And I love that they're going to be mining Bitcoin, and I think there's great things that are going to happen across Latin America. It excites me. Bitcoin's a part of it. Anyway, Fed swaps are now showing 2 rate cuts for 2024. I think that's still likely. Pension funds and sovereign wealth funds are planning to buy Bitcoin ETFs, kind of a big deal. Big banks are getting exposure to Bitcoin ETFs, especially if some of these bills end up going through, whether it takes till the end of the year through a Trump presidency or whether Biden wakes the fuck up and realizes that there's over 42 million votes he could get if he doesn't act like a dipshit with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Or Morgan Stanley is considering allowing its 15,000 brokers to recommend Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. All these things will cumulatively bring $2 to $5 trillion to Bitcoin. And people are worried about a 20% fucking drop in the price. Thank you, Ash Crypto, for being a voice of reason amongst a bunch of people that are stupid and short-sighted. And/or Thomas from Hey Apollo. Again, Thomas is like the Thomas the Tank, right? He's fucking great. That reminds me of a movie I saw recently. Anyway, which is great. It's got a bunch of Thomas. Anyway, whatever. You got to watch it. It's wonderful. All right. So rumors are swirling of a pending approval into Hong Kong Stock Connect, which would allow mainland Chinese to invest and could ignite the market. And Hong Kong Bitcoin related ETFs have pulled in like $240 million or $50 million already anyways, which is not a small sum. And again, Cleanspark and Mara are going down. I don't fucking know, man. I can't tell you any. Hood was down. Hood was down. What the fuck? I don't know what to say. I don't have any good input here. Anyway, Trump. Again, don't love the orange man. Love what he has to say here. Let's listen to it. And again, whether you love him or hate him, if he says he's going to go this route, I think he's going to.
They are against it. Biden doesn't even know what it is. If you ask Biden, sir, are you for or against crypto? What's that? What the? Get me off the stage. He's saying, get me off the stage.
I mean, fairly, I think he's probably right. But I also don't even know if Donald Trump knows what fucking Bitcoin and any of these financial things actually are. He wanted a strong dollar for a long time, which is actually the opposite of what you'd want to. None of these politicians are really good. Again, you heard the chairman something of the financial committee for Biden's presidency, and he didn't even know how the bond and treasury markets fucking work. So, I mean, that's what we're dealing with, guys. All of these guys suck at this stuff, but at least this guy, I think, is going to do what he says. Also, European market regulators consider adding Bitcoin to the list of approved assets that can be included in the $12 trillion market, UCITS. It's 2x bigger addressable market than the US ETF market. Kind of fucking seems like signal. Bitcoin ETFs have attracted $50 plus billion in the USA so far. Again, everything is spinning up, guys. Hong Kong's already bought 4,343 Bitcoin. It's a $270 million sum. And then you have Europe looking at opening up the European Union, opening up their regulatory markets, and they're twice the size of us. Again, just a little bit of signal here. Yeah, we'll go over all the financials. We'll hit both of those, man. We'll hit both of those. But yeah, so again, kind of big stuff. What else do you guys fucking need? I never could have imagined a market for Bitcoin or a macro environment for Bitcoin that is what we're seeing right now. Be happy. All right, Bitcoin. I drew this earlier. It's just showing the 100 moving average in yellow and the fact that Bitcoin, since the bottom of the bear market cycle, since the halving has started, has respected the 100 moving average, and I think it's getting ready to do it again. And it's going to go up, and it's going to be a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and then it's going to break out through a measured move that gets us into the 70s. And I think that could play out to 92,000, the .618 golden retracement zone, in the next several months. Mr. 100, who, yes, is a wallet in Upbit in South Korea. We already know all this shit. Bought more Bitcoin. But here's the thing. It's not a fucking exchange. It's the wallet address. Again, right here it says Upbit, a South Korean exchange, is the custodian. However, Upbit does not own the BTC per their own financial disclosures. So if you think that this Mr. 100 is just an exchange stacking Bitcoin and that it doesn't have any signal, you're fucking wrong again. It does. It's an entity, a powerful one, in Southeast Asia making decisions to buy Bitcoin. That seems to matter. It's buying up the daily supply. It's buying up 3 days of the supply every once in a while. I mean, what the fuck more do you need? This is one entity. All right. That's it for Bitcoin. There's some other stuff. Honestly, the liquidation markets look huge. It looks like there's tons of money to be made to the upside. If we look here, I'll go to all the big ones, right? Binance, OKX, and Bybit. If I look over here and I just go all the way over to this corner, there's about $10 billion worth of Bitcoin for liquidating up to this price. And if we go the same distance over to the left, instead of making almost 10 billion, you'd make 4.34. That's a pretty good ratio for upside gains versus downside gains. X is awesome. Why not vote for RFK? Hey, man, if you guys get enough fucking people to do that where he stands a chance at all, great. But whoever doesn't put Biden in office is my vote right now. Now, I've changed my mind a lot because I was like, fuck Trump, I'll vote for Biden like 3 or 4 months ago. But you know what? I just can't make myself do it when I look at all of the things that have happened here recently logically. So, whatever. We'll see how it plays out. But my whole point here is liquidation levels, you make more money liquidating the shorts than you do the longs. So, it's like it matters, right? It matters. It's 10-4. So, that's probably where the money's going to go. All right, let's just keep rocking and rolling. I need to move quicker here. I got 9 minutes until the conference call. Let me see, there's so much to talk about today. Let's go ahead and look at the CME. We did get initial jobless claims, guys. I'll pull up that here in a second, too. Actually, I should do that now. Let me do that real quick. Okay, we got more stuff. Let's go through the macro and just try and get through that really quickly before we get into the weeds here. And thank you, CC, for joining. And anybody else who joined, thank you, guys. By this weekend, I'll have the $1.99 new starter pack. So if you guys are trying to save yourself $1 a month, it's basically the same as the fucking old one. I just can't change the price. So I'm just going to let you guys who want to save money switch to the new one, and it'll give you the same thing. So that should be up this weekend. I'll send a post or something or talk about it in one of my videos, maybe by Sunday at the latest. Anyway, Holmar's catalog said 50% chance of a rate cut by the Bank of England for the month of June. So here's the deal. We might not cut rates here. But you know what the other countries around the world need to do? They have to do right now? They have to lower rates. Because they aren't the world reserve currency printing a bunch of fucking money. And they're getting crushed. And they have adjustable rate mortgages or commercial loans or whatever. They don't have these fixed rates that we have for such long periods of time. It doesn't exist in a lot of their worlds, especially across Europe, Australia, a bunch of other places. And so they're getting fucked right now, and they're a sign of what's coming for us. They have to lower rates. So we're going to see increased liquidity from rates going down in European nations and maybe other parts of the world like Australia, and before we see it here, and that's fine. It's still providing global liquidity. So that makes things go up, guys. Again, before the world falls apart, a lot of the times throughout history, if you look at the Great Depression, the market skyrocketed. We haven't fucking skyrocketed for the last 2 years, okay? We've just kind of been flat. So that's all going to change. That's all going to change. And I think we're going to melt up because that's what happened in 2007, before 2008. That's what happened in the dot-com bubble. That's what happened, going back throughout history, the Great Depression, a bunch of other eras outside of eras like the 70s and early 80s, where we were getting crushed by inflation through things like oil, problems we don't have right now. Okay? We don't have those problems. We have deflation being exported out of China. That's all that fucking matters. Anyway, my whole point is this is positive for markets. It provides liquidity. Initial jobless claims. We got about 5.5 minutes until earnings call for Cleanspark. Initial jobless claims hit their highest levels in 9 months. This should boost markets as bad news is good news, at least for now. That's what I said. So this little bit of initial pressure that we're seeing in the job market. Whoa, Mara just dropped. Mara just dropped hard. Did their data actually come out? All right, we're going to have to look at that. Maybe their guidance either sucks. Or they're down 5%. So anybody who bought heavy into that is getting fucked. Interesting. All right, we'll take a look at that in a second. And then we have, what is Cleanspark? Cleanspark's down 0.5. So they're not feeling this bite. This is all Mara. And Mara is hitting, yeah, we'll see. We'll let the price settle. We'll check it in a second. Let's get through the rest of the macro and we'll jump to it. Okay, that's not great for Cleanspark either, though. It doesn't necessarily impact Cleanspark. It depends on what the problems are. If Mara's problems are in regard to mismanagement of their mining facilities, which has been a crucial problem for them, and Cleanspark is just doing a better job with spinning things up, Mara sales miss. Yeah, so we'll look at that in a second too. But we'll look at both today, guys. We'll cover Cleanspark and we'll cover Mara. I'm probably not doing the whole conference call with Mara because I care about Cleanspark the most. And I'll watch Mara later and I'll respond with my thoughts on that. Also, Flux has earnings today, so that's going to be another thing that's happening. I just real quickly want to check that out too before we jump into this earnings call. We got about 4 minutes. Let me pull up Flux too. I'm going to put it in my smaller screen here just for a split second. Flux is down 15%, so that didn't go well either. Oh, you got to love it. Just nothing working right now at all. Oh, sweet. All right, so Flux is way the fuck down here, but this is a strong area of support. And we're above the fib, so we'll see if it can hold it. But not a good day for Flux either. It's just like everything getting brutalized. All right. Let's see. I think that's good. I went over this yesterday. We're going to skip some of these others. I think markets are getting ready to bounce. Hey, to the 690 people here, before we jump into this conference call, can you please hit the like button? We're just going to look through some of the financials here real quick for Cleanspark. We'll check out Mara in a little bit here too after the call. We'll go through them too and I'll do a comparison between the two and what we're seeing, okay? We'll pull up Mara over here and make sure that it's updated too. And we'll do that after the Cleanspark call. But if you look at Cleanspark here, you can see Bitcoin production still did all right. It still trended higher. That's so hard for miners right now with the halving event. It's just so much harder for miners to continue to see Bitcoin production climbing. Now, the hash rate, again, look at the consistency of growth here for this company. It's wonderful. It's perfect. It's just what you want to see. Look at their net income. Net income, they netted $127 million. Look at the growth here that we're seeing. A lot of this is FASB accounting, guys, which is why I'm so just gung-ho on it. Now, see, look at Mara. Mara's only down 2% now, so it's bouncing back. This is why I don't like to get too involved in the weeds. I want to sift through things at the appropriate time. All right, so revenue. Look at this, $111 million in revenue, up from 73 last quarter, up from 51 before. In the bear market, they were making 26 million, and we're already up to 111. This next one, it'll probably be 250 million or more as these guys are continuing to increase their hash rate, which is so important. And again, look at the liquid cash, the amount that they have right now. It's $323 million versus five million in debt. That's a pretty great thing. All right, let me get over here. We'll look at some of the other production information. Don't play. All right, let me unmute here. I'm not going to play the music in the lobby because I don't want to. Oh, no, I didn't have it muted. Okay. All right. Let me see if I refresh here. Don't play. Okay, so this will come on in a second. We'll know when it happens, okay? So that's going to be coming up in a second here. But yeah, otherwise, if we look over here, let's look at the rest of the financials. Total mining assets, 620. Oh, yeah, let's do it over here. So if we look here on the second page for Cleanspark, this is where some of the fun is. So if you look at the Bitcoin holdings in dollars, look at this number. Look at this number. They have $358 million in Bitcoin right now. By this next quarter, that could be 600-700 million, getting closer to $1 billion. That is impactful. Yeah, I think their forward PE will skyrocket. But look at this. Q4 2023, 127 million. Now it's 357. This is the kind of shit you're not going to see from Iron or Wolf, guys. You're not going to see this kind of stuff. Look at this. These guys had $5 million in USD in Q1 of 2023 a year ago. Now they have 358 million. Kind of a big deal. Cleanspark agreement, acquire mining sites in Wyoming. Oh, did they close a deal? I didn't even see that today. I've been so busy. Let me get over here. Let me check that out. Oh, or is it in their documentation? We have 742 people here now, guys. Again, if you could just do me a solid and hit the like button. I do as much as I can for you guys here, and it's great to get that back. Giddy up. Cleanspark has entered. That's why they did the release earlier in the day. They had a couple of releases coming. Spot on. Has entered a definitive agreement to acquire a 75 megawatt Bitcoin mining sites in Wyoming for $18.75 million, expecting to add 4 exahash in hash rate once fully operational. This is now the third state in our portfolio of owned and operated Bitcoin mining facilities. The agreement is anticipated to close in 45 days, and we plan to break ground shortly afterwards for a total of 7 exahash. Just 3 short months ago, we took a leap and expanded into Mississippi. Today, I'm pleased to share that we're continuing our journey into the westward expansion. Wyoming is such a great place to be, guys. Dude, this is so great, guys. This is so great. I am so stoked about Cleanspark. And I think Mara's going to do all right, too. I think we'll see that here in a second. Ignore some of this fucking price action right now, guys. It does not matter. It's all so non-important. I showed you some of the Bitcoin stuff earlier in this. You can see what's really happening, right? You can see what's happening with adoption, how much things are changing. Look at the operating leverage in Cleanspark right now. Look at the revenue gains versus the expense. Look at that. This is what the best run Bitcoin miner can do. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like. There's 754 of you. It really helps me a lot if you would do that. Thank you. All right, let's check the call. I'm going to make sure. Oh, 1 sec. I got to kill that. I don't want to get demonetized. Okay. I'm going to refresh here real quick, though. I might have to remute. I'm not sure. Nope. Okay, it's muted. All right, when this thing comes back, we'll jump into it. I am super stoked here, guys. I think these guys are good, too. They do a good job of walking through the slides as they talk, which all of these companies should be doing across every fucking company. Tesla does this stuff. Like, you should have a good slide deck showing what you're doing for your company, and you should actually display that while you're doing the earnings report so that you can help analysts understand your stock. PayPal. All these other companies, please do this. Do a good job of your presentations. It makes a huge difference in investing sentiment. Now, again, I am so impressed with Cleanspark right now. I'm very excited about this. When you have revenue growth of 163% year over year, it's a great thing. The forward PE is just broken right now. It says 844. All this stuff is going to be changing in the future. It will get a lot better. A lot better. I can tell you how miners work, guys. They flip their financials after, like, months after the halving, maybe a quarter or two later. They start flipping their financials where they turn into money printers. And they'll have a period of about a year where they're just a money printer that keeps growing and growing and growing as the price goes up. And as hash slowly starts to slow, hash growth, I should say, starts to slow. And so you're going to make a ton of money off of miners. And there's a period of about a year from now, roughly, where you can just make tons of money, maybe a little over a year. So be ready for that stuff, guys. Let me see if they're actually live here. One sec. I want to see. I don't want to miss any of this. Here we go. One sec. I think it's live. They got a safe harbor statement. Let me just double check. Oh, it's muted. One second.
It is my pleasure to turn the call over to Zach.
Thank you, Isaac. We've had an exceptional quarter, made possible by the hard work of the many quarters that preceded it. In fact, this quarter has been, in many ways, the payoff for what has been years of careful, measured, and patient building. But rather than see this as a place where we stop to celebrate, I see this as a beginning in which we have already laid a strong foundation for the future to come. Post-halving, this foundation of grit, commitment, and importantly, the scale we've developed over the last few years will continue to pay off as we work to deliver exceptional returns to our shareholders.
I love Zach. He's such a stud.
Our record-breaking revenue and adjusted EBITDA are a testament to our robust operational strategies and market positioning. We recorded $111.8 million in revenue and $181.8 million in adjusted EBITDA. These numbers are impressive on their own. Compared to the past performance and the speed at which we have achieved them relative to our peers, they become more so. Our revenue grew 52% quarter over quarter and 163% compared to the same prior year period.
Look at that.
Adjusted EBITDA grew 163% quarter over quarter and then 12 times over the same prior year period.
This negative?
Bitcoin production, despite global hash rate growth, stayed strong, even beating our prior quarter's production, placing us amongst the highest producers in the industry. Since the start of 2024, we've experienced exceptional growth, with our operating capacity increasing by an impressive 63%, in what we believe is the most hash rate added amongst any public miner. Our growth is supported by our newest Bitcoin mining facilities in Mississippi and Georgia. And as we announced moments before the call started, we plan to continue our growth in the great state of Wyoming, which I'll discuss in greater detail later in the call. I want to pause a moment here to underscore how important our growth has been. We've had a lot of talk lately about the programmed halving and its impact on miner revenue. What ran under the radar is the fact that we experienced a halving of sorts already with global hash rate's dramatic rise, and even given that rise, we still have grown our production, outpacing global hash rate, while some of our peers have languished. We expect to do the same with the programmed halving that recently occurred. Among the evidence for this claim is that we've achieved a significant milestone, securing our position as the second largest vertically integrated, publicly traded Bitcoin mining company in North America. Our current total capacity stands at over 17 exahash per second, distributed across 8 owned and operated data centers in Georgia and Mississippi, and co-location facilities in upstate New York, and we are not resting on our laurels. Our efficiency is amongst the best globally, emphasizing our commitment to innovation and operational excellence. Efficiency is a crucial metric in every aspect of our business, including our fleet, operations, and capital allocation. With capital on hand, we have fully funded all machine purchases. This positions us to continue to thrive post-halving and be highly active in the coming months. We expect to be one of the most measured and active acquirers in the industry. Speaking of machine purchases, we aggressively pursued machine purchases upgrades Notably, the acquisition of the S21 Pro miners, enhancing our mining capabilities significantly. We recently took advantage of an opportunity to upgrade our purchase of the already efficient S21 to the new, even more efficient S21 Pros at the same industry low cost per terahash. The effect of this upgrade is a 17% increase in our total purchased hash rate, adding 3.4 exahash per second. These machines are so efficient that we don't need to add more infrastructure to achieve and recognize these hash rate gains. These new rigs represent the latest advancements in mining technology, setting the stage for our continued success. Our shareholder returns this quarter have been impressive, reflecting our strong financial health and our commitment to shareholder value. Year to date, we have outpaced all our publicly held peers to become the second largest miner by market cap listed on the NASDAQ. Many of these achievements can be tied back to the benefits of scale. I want to drive this home as I think the benefits of scale are grossly overlooked. Many try and find a single metric that levels the playing field between small and large miners, but the playing field isn't level. A company that has scale can achieve escape velocity with much lower.
They're right. You've got to grow. You've got to grow fast. You've got to be strong. You've got to do it at the right time. They're doing it perfectly.
Production, and as a result, all new capacity we add and the resulting Bitcoin goes directly to our bottom line.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it, no argument about unit economics matters until scale and the resulting escape velocity is reached. You pair this scale with our solid cash balance, minimal debt, and our significant cash flows, we are set to grow at a lower cost of capital, faster, and stronger than many of our peers.
Zach is so great.
That we will have fewer public miners at the end of this year than we started with. The miners that have not reached the escape velocity of scale, lacking the ability to cover all their overhead costs,
they're going to die. Say goodbye to like half of them.
Back down to earth. Now, this also creates opportunities for Cleanspark, which we intend to continue to capitalize on in our journey to 50.
I think Cleanspark could do $140 this cycle. That's my take.
Our unique advantage also lies in our deep understanding of infrastructure needs and the ability to control our own destiny. Being a vertically integrated company, or said in another way, asset heavy, from the outset, we have always recognized the value that this control provides us as we navigate halving and other market events. There are a lot of variables out of our control, such as Bitcoin price, global hash rate, machine prices, and all.
I mean, it's financial advice from me for me.
Where variables are constantly changing, allowing us to produce the best results. I also want to mention the value of holding Bitcoin. Our operations produce strong positive cash flows, and we've been using those cash flows over the past several months to hold Bitcoin. Or said another way, we have used it to buy Bitcoin at a price less than spot. We view our cost of production as a measure equal to a purchase price. And our low cost of production has allowed us to not only grow our treasury dramatically, but also benefit our shareholders through the recent and future price appreciation. We believe setting ourselves up to benefit from the future appreciation is an important strategy, as it's the easiest way to pave the way towards a large amount of non-dilutive capital for our shareholders in the future. To do this, we have prioritized the use of equity in our growth because it's the right way to build long-term value.
How long have I been saying dilute your stock and grow and stack your Bitcoin? This is what they do. They're the best at it.
We also believe that Bitcoin will play an important role on not just our balance sheet, but the growing of adoption of Bitcoin on others' balance sheets will continue to lead to increased value in the future. Gary will speak more about this later. Of course, a lot has happened since the quarter ended. Principally, Bitcoin's price action as well as the halving. The recent Bitcoin halving is a pivotal event for the entire industry. For those unfamiliar, Bitcoin halving is a scheduled reduction in the reward that Bitcoin miners receive for adding new blocks to the blockchain. It occurs approximately every 4 years, effectively halving the number of new Bitcoins created and earned by miners before transaction fees. It's crucial to understand what that means for Cleanspark. Halving has the impact of compressing margins, which means only the most efficient miners can support profitable operations after the halving and prior to any meaningful price appreciation of Bitcoin. For some miners, it is a halving. For some miners, it's an offing.
Yeah.
And for other miners like Cleanspark,
Some say halving, some say halving, some say halvening. It doesn't matter.
it's partially offset by changes in the hash rate across the network, which takes time. But we've begun to see decreases. Miners with efficient and profitable operations can take advantage of this decrease in hash rate as they organically grow their market share. Then as Bitcoin's price appreciates, this halving adjustment can benefit those who are efficient enough to operate through the difficult times. But I want to zoom in a little on this. The opportunity for Cleanspark isn't just in the amount of hash rate that drops off, but in the data centers that become available as a result. It's easy to get lost thinking about the sheer size of global hash rate. But consider this. We're about 3% of the global network. That means that the most recent decreases in the network hash rate of about 15% means data center space equal to approximately 5 times the size of our company has become available, that we can then optimize and upgrade at a multiple with our superior operations if we choose to acquire it. This represents the potential.
Please hit the like, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
In addition to the organic growth plans we already have. At Cleanspark, we are navigating this new era with our characteristic discipline and focus on returning value to our shareholders. We built and maintained our strength through advanced strategic planning and active power management at our operations. For example, in addition to actively managing our power, we continually optimize our operations through hardware and software improvements to keep the cost of mining, or hash cost, below the revenue generated per hash.
Do it more, Dougie Fresh 69. Do it more.
We see hash costs becoming an increasingly important and easy to digest variable for shareholders to use when they are evaluating publicly traded miners. Hash cost considers primarily fleet efficiency and power cost to deliver a more standardized metric. And of course, the best power prices and the most efficient fleets are meaningless if the operator cannot maintain exceptional uptime across their portfolio. Our existing data centers have performed exceptionally well, each designed to maximize output and efficiency. What that means is that we have an industry-leading hash cost and a track record of effectively managing that cost. Our internal analysis places our current hash cost around $32. We're not just expanding our fleet with additional machines, we're also upgrading existing equipment.
Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
S21 Pro miners is a testament to this approach and aligns with our long-term strategic goals. Importantly, it will exert significant downward pressure on our hash cost, giving us an expected hash cost as low as just under $28 once the S21 Pros we have ordered have arrived and are deployed. Compare that to the hash price, which as of this call is around $50. We expect to see continued hash price improvement, but in the interim, we see current hash price as a meaningful correction in a very crowded market while we wait for the continued price appreciation. Although hash price is a good measure, we think it's ever more important to consider the all-in hash.
I need to find more emoticons. I need a law for that.
Cash cost to operate the business, including overhead, to produce hash rate. I will repeat what I said earlier. A company must be capable of covering its cost with its production post-halving to achieve escape velocity. And miners lacking scale or with less efficient corporate overhead practices will never beat miners operating at large scale that cover these costs without requiring outside capital inputs. In summary, as we move forward in this new phase of Bitcoin's life cycle, Cleanspark is exceptionally well positioned to continue thriving. Our proactive strategies and relentless pursuit of operational excellence are key differentiators that set us apart in this competitive landscape. We've grown tremendously over the quarter and over the last year, and we plan to continue to grow. As of this time last year, we were operating at 6.7 exahash per second, meaning we've grown at an annual rate of over 150%. And we have no intention of slowing down, as evidenced by the announcement we just made. I'm particularly pleased to discuss in greater detail our expansion into Wyoming.
Thanks, Gartov.
Our geographic footprint is expanded, and it's the next step to meet our growth targets. We announced definitive agreements for 2 sites just outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. The first site will provide 45 megawatts, and the second site will provide 30 megawatts. Upon completion, this is expected to support a total of approximately 4.2 exahash per second. We will promptly break ground on infrastructure with a target of having the sites operational in the second half of 2024. In addition to the megawatts already in place, we are working with the utility on a load study that is already underway that we believe will allow us to expand the sites by an additional 55 megawatts.
Yeah.
For a total of 130 megawatts.
Wow.
And an expected 7.4 exahash per second of operational hash rate in Wyoming.
They're getting to
Our
that 56 hash level.
And deploying machines is meticulous and strategic. The upcoming expansion in Wyoming exemplifies our ability to identify and capitalize on opportunities that meet our stringent criteria for efficiency and scalability. Once we close the Wyoming deal, assuming we obtain the megawatts under the expansion, we expect our capacity under management to be over 550 megawatts. This new low-cost capacity will continue to support our mission to have a portfolio that ranks amongst the lowest average cost of energy in the entire industry. We have a solid track record of buying quality sites and then expanding them, and expect Wyoming to be no different. For example, Washington, Sandersville, and Dalton are the most recent examples of successful expansion, and we plan to do the same with Wyoming. Before transitioning to how we see the next few quarters developing, I'd like to provide an update on Sandersville. As you are aware, the facility is operating at 180 of the 230 megawatts that we expected. The utility's 50 megawatt transformer has not yet passed the required test before it can be shipped to the newly built substation next to our operations. While we do not have a specific time estimate for energization, the City of Sandersville is working in earnest to ensure the work needed is completed as promptly as possible, and we will share more updates as soon as we receive them. As we look ahead, the dynamics within the Bitcoin mining industry are shifting. We anticipate significant consolidation in the coming years, a trend that will likely widen the performance gap between the top-tier miners and the rest of the field. This shift isn't only about scale. It's about strategic positioning and operational efficiency, which are areas where Cleanspark continues to excel. The ongoing consolidation in our industry is necessary. It's akin to a market bloodletting. While this process won't occur overnight, it's an inevitable step towards a more mature and economically sustainable sector.
Wow, so much.
As less equipped miners struggle to keep pace, well-positioned companies like ours will thrive. At Cleanspark, we favor growth through targeted acquisitions over mergers. Our approach allows us to integrate operations seamlessly and leveraging our existing efficiencies. A prime example of this strategy is our recent acquisition in Wyoming, which not only expanded our operational...
I'm pulling up Mara right now so you can see it on the screen. It looks messy. They did a shitty job with their quarter in managing their hash.
Our M&A strategy, the Cleanspark way.
This was the big concern I talked about with these guys, but I think they'll still do fine. But still.
Our strict criteria. Efficiency, valuation, power accessibility, and community engagement. Allow me to spend a moment addressing each of them. Efficiency. Our operations are designed to maximize output. with our watts producing in some cases as much as twice the Bitcoin as some competitors. Valuation. We pursue acquisitions that offer substantial value, not just on paper, but in real operational terms. Power accessibility. Access to current and future low-cost power resources is crucial, ensuring sustainability and scalability. Community engagement. We prioritize acquisitions that allow us to maintain and enhance relationships within local communities, allowing our growth with broader social values. With that in mind, we are reaffirming our path to 50 exahash per second in 2025 and continue to target 32 exahash per second coming online by the end of this year.
Cool.
We expect to reach those goals through the acquisition of facilities that we can then put our machines in. I'd like to conclude by thanking our teams for their incredible work over the quarter. I believe our team set records for the fastest deployment time in our industry at Sandersville, racking and energizing machines with an expediency that showed the type of grit and resiliency that has become central to our culture. In line with that grit and resolve, I'm especially pleased to welcome two key colleagues to the executive management team. As announced yesterday, we promoted Scott Garrison to Chief Operations Officer and Taylor Monig to Chief Technology Officer.
Cool.
Scott and Taylor are examples of Cleanspark's commitment to excellence and the Cleanspark way. Their leadership and grit have been instrumental in positioning Cleanspark as a top operator at scale in the industry. I speak often about our best-in-class teams, and Scott and Taylor have both helped build and lead these teams to great heights. They are instrumental in our continued success as our teams grow and gain even greater expertise to match the task ahead of us on our path to 50 exahashes and beyond. I greatly look forward to this next phase in Cleanspark's journey as we work together to continue delivering value to our shareholders and the greater Bitcoin ecosystem. With that, I'd now like to turn the time over to Gary to review the quarter's financial results in greater detail.
Thank you, Zach. Hopefully, you have all seen our press release and Form 10-Q released early this morning. I'm happy to review our record results for the fiscal second quarter, which is a direct result of our thoughtful strategy and the grit and...
We should be done with this in a little bit. They had a great quarter. It was wonderful. Hey, I'm going to throw up a vote. If you guys want to hear the rest, we can do that. Otherwise, I can update you with any details in tomorrow's market recap. 1 second.
Quarter, we saw revenues increase 52%, or $38 million. These increases in revenue were not only driven by increases in Bitcoin prices, but also increases in our hash rate, which yielded increased Bitcoin production. To give you context, at the end of Q2 last year, we had almost 68,000 machines in operation, representing 6.7 exahash. At the end of Q2 this year, we had approximately 134,000 machines deployed, representing 16.4 exahash. The average revenue per Bitcoin more than doubled between the year-over-year periods, as our Q2 2023 average revenue was approximately $23,000, and this quarter our average was $55,000. When compared to our immediately preceding first quarter, our hash rate increased over 60%, from 10.1 exahash to 16.7. Our revenue per Bitcoin in Q2 increased over 50% to $55,000, as our revenue per Bitcoin in Q1 was almost $37,000. Cleanspark's mining economics remained healthy through the second quarter, as we saw gross profit improve 21 points over the same quarter.
All right, we're done. We're moving on. So I want to do some comparisons here real quick, guys. We're going to look at Mara and what they did. And this is visualstocks.com. This is my friend Alejandro's site. He's a good friend, a great dude. Been spending time in Argentina as of late, getting to know Javier Milei. But he's got a wonderful site. It's a very visual way to digest data financially, and I think it's really wonderful to look at. So, all right, so we've seen, this is Cleanspark right here on this side. You can see how Bitcoin production, they continue to go up. Not a lot, just barely, but that's pretty good with, like I said, the halving event. You can see the hash rate consistently growing. You can see this awesome quarter where they jumped from 74 million to 111, almost 12. You can see their net income of 126, But now let's look at Mara and why is Mara going down and why did Cleanspark go up? And again, I own both. I just tell you guys the truth. I own Cypher, I own Mara, I own the majority of what I have is Cleanspark. I think I have almost 400,000 in that. So that one I obviously have the greatest interest. And but I'm going to tell you the way it is. So look at Mara here. This is what sucks for Mara. Look at their Bitcoin production. What have I been telling you guys for the last couple of months about Mara that are the biggest risks to them? It's that they suck at managing Bitcoin miners. They fucking suck at it. They're not good at managing a company in this regard. What they are good at is buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin. Oh, and let me kill this pulse. 72% said to move on. That's why I did. Anyway. So if we look at revenue here for Mara, it barely went up, right? Okay, hash rate went down significantly to where they only produced 2,800 Bitcoin for Q1, whereas Cleanspark did 2,000. Now, Mara was huge. They were producing way more, and now, in a quarter does Cleanspark, or 2 quarters, does Cleanspark surpass them? I think so. Which again is why I have the bulk of my money in this one. But I'm never fully into anything. I'm always split out, diversifying my risk. That's why I have all the shitcoins, the Mara, the MicroStrategy, the Cypher, the Cleanspark. It's diversification. You should think about it if you don't do it. But again, great growth in revenue, great growth in net income. If we look over here, the value in Bitcoin holdings. So look at these. These guys went from 5 million in Bitcoin holdings in Q1 of 2023. This is Cleanspark, all the way up to 358 million. Now let's look at the Bitcoin holdings over here. Again, production went way down. Revenue barely grew. These guys look really great last quarter. But what do they look like now? They've got 1.23 billion. So again, they're still doing great. It's all their Bitcoin holdings. If there's anything that helps this company and keeps them from just collapsing, it is their Bitcoin holdings, because their operating leverage isn't that great. Look at their expenses going up dramatically. Sure, revenue's going up, but so are expenses. But if we look over at Cleanspark, look at what's happening there. Expenses are barely moving, and revenue is skyrocketing. So Cleanspark is just a much better run company. But there's a difference here, guys, and Wall Street will catch up to it. And this will keep Mara going up versus Wolf and Iron and all these other fucking companies like Bit Digital and Stronghold and all this fucking shit where they don't hold Bitcoin, all the trash. Yes, I said that. 357 million in Bitcoin in US dollars versus 1.234 billion are much different numbers. And it will be dramatically positive for Marathon, for their balance sheet, for them to have all of this Bitcoin. It will help them a lot. Their debt to assets going to switch a lot in the near future. So I still say that's great, but Cleanspark is by far, again, just my favorite. And in my main account, I represent that, right? Cleanspark has 284 million in here, and I probably have like 350 million, I think, or 1,000 million, I wish. 350,000 in Cleanspark. And then I have like 120, it says in here in Cypher, but I have more in another account, a long-term hold account. This is just my IRA. And then I have, again, just looking down here, Mara, I've got 181,000, and then MicroStrategy, I've got 278. I'm probably closer to 400,000 in MicroStrategy across all my accounts. So I've got a lot of diversification here in this field, but I think Cleanspark is just de facto the best Bitcoin miner in existence right now. That's publicly traded. There's just nobody that's remotely comparable to these guys. These kind of growth levels from their actual holdings to the amount they're worth in USD to the amount their mining efficiency is going to get better and better and better as they ramp. If you look over here, you can see, let me actually find it real quick, see if I can find it. Right here. So this is Sebastian Ski's Patreon. I pay like $10 a month for this. It's great. If you look here, you can see these guys are shooting for 56 exahash. That passes every other Bitcoin miner. Riot's shooting for 50. Mara's shooting for 50. I don't know if either one of them will actually hit it. But the thing I love, and again, the reason I've dipped a little bit out of Cypher and I sold 50% of my position is they're not looking to ramp their growth in hash until the middle of 2025. That is the worst fucking possible time for it. By the end of Q3, beginning of Q4, they're only going to be at 9 exahash. This company right now is getting ready to hit, in the 30s by the end of this year. And so they're just going to leave a bunch of other companies in the dust, and they continually grow. And we can see this for Cleanspark when we look at Bitcoin production. Again, even with the halving, look at the mining hash rate. This is just the cleanest fucking chart you would ever want to see. It's beautiful. It looks like a Tesla chart. So there's a lot of growth that we're going to be seeing in the future. And I think you got to own Cleanspark. I just don't think there's any way around it. And that's why they're up 2.23% in after hours, and you're seeing Mara down 1.27. So again, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot more to talk about in the miners. If there's additional details, I'll bring it up tomorrow and let you guys know about it. But I think that's probably good for now. I do want to continue on here. Oh, and real quickly, let me just do this. I want to look. I'm going to refresh this real fast. I want to look over here and see what the miners are doing under my watch list. Real fast, miners. And let me do this. All right, I need to zoom in a little bit. But let's just look here. And I don't know that this incorporates after hours. Maybe it does. Let's just check. Anyway, Cypher up today, 4.64. Again, getting that bounce. It dropped so fucking hard over the last couple of days this week. It's no surprise that it's getting a little bit of a bounce. Bitfarms up 2.78. MicroStrategy up 2.48. Bitcoin up 2.54. Doing really good in after hours. We'll pull that up in a second. I think we're going to see that really climbing in the days ahead. And Mara suffering the worst right now. Again, down in after hours too, but Mara didn't have a good day. And it's just from mismanagement. Sucks to be them, right? All right. Real quickly here, let me see what else I want to cover. So we're going to jump through the rest of my stocks real quick, guys, and then and I might have some more U.S. economic data. We'll see. Did I get through all that? Let me just double check. I did. Okay, so I want to get over real quickly here. I already did the Bitcoin liquidation. Let's look at the CME Fed Watch tool, because again, we had data today. And did I even cover? Let me double check. I think I missed. No, jobless claims was pretty much it today. And like I said, basically we're at levels we haven't seen in 9 months. That's bad news technically, but it's not super dramatic. But it probably gives the Fed a reason to lower rates sooner than later. And again, the Bank of England is looking to lower rates very quickly, as soon as June. So we're seeing pressure applied around the world, guys. Whether it's here or not, it doesn't really matter. And now we're seeing 33.1% chance, again, drifting back towards the, we're gonna do a rate cut in July. And as long as the employment market isn't falling apart, which I still think it won't be, that's going to be beneficial to markets. Again, a little bit of pressure on markets isn't bad, especially if the world is opening up liquidity. And I don't, let me see if I have this here real quick. Let me see if I have the latest Substack from Michael Howell. I'm going to start bringing up more of these guys. I pay for this service too. I don't know if I should be reading off everything that he does in here since it is a paid service. I might just give you a beat into it every once in a while into parts of it because again, he should get paid for his work. But the gist inside of this is that global liquidity looks like it's going to be picking up. And again, we see this, right? We saw this with the Fed and the fact that they were saying, hey, we're going to slow down on the taper and we're going to start, or not selling off aggressively on equities. And in the process of not doing that, they end up creating more liquidity, right? And then the Treasury told us not only are we not going to print a bunch of bonds and dilute the market too much, putting pressure on bond rates to where they go higher, because people are selling their bonds, and in turn putting pressure on the dollar and putting pressure on stocks. They said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to print a bunch more. But on top of that, we're going to start buying back our bonds at an aggressive rate that we haven't seen in over 20 years. So all these things push towards liquidity. Global liquidity, I'm not going to give you all the details here. All the indicators are it's starting to shift higher. And again, subscribe to this man. I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's $70 a month. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's well worth the money to me. But it's up to you. But I do think that we're seeing strong amounts of global liquidity. We're seeing it in China. We're going to be seeing it here more and more in the States. It's getting telegraphed like crazy. It's impactful, and it will have a difference on the way that we look at things in the months ahead with markets. And again, all the markets to me look like they're ready to bounce. We had an opportunity to drop. Again, looking at the S&P, it does not look like it wants to go down. The NASDAQ does not look like it wants to go down. The Russell does not look like it wants to go down. History tells us that if there is a little bit of pressure, but the employment sector isn't falling apart, that markets are more likely to melt up than melt down, okay? You need to think about this stuff. It's very, very important. Real quickly, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Hood. What the fuck is up with Hood? Of course it was down today. That totally makes sense because they had such a great quarter and beat in just about every way possible. So, of course, it's down 3% on the day. It did find support on the fib level. If we look real closely here, you can see where we're right above the fib. That's probably a good sign. And this thing's going to bounce eventually. I don't own enough of this. I only have like $5,000, $10,000 in hood. So I'm probably going to look to get in more. Not touching options right now. I made my 500 or 600% already near the beginning of this year off a hood. I'm happy. I made it up over here and I got the fuck out. And people were like, why are you getting the fuck out? And I mean, it hasn't done anything since, right? But I am so impressed by that quarter and by Vlad and by the fact that he's diversifying with IRAs, with deposits, with everything, with options, with trading, with everything pulling people into the gold membership, the gold credit card. It's just, he's so aggressive and he does everything so well. I mean, outside of Citadel and GameStop, right? That could have been better, but we're looking past that. But this is fucking awesome, and this is a great company. And if you're not invested in this, I think you should be. I know I'm going to be putting more money into it. Okay. Not going to talk about the Wells notice. Total bullshit. Who cares? PayPal. My buddy Crossroads. He's a good man. He was talking about how PayPal is everywhere online. He's 100% right. It's a big deal. If people aren't paying attention to it, that's fine. Also, yes, just the other day had a company just yesterday. It dropped like 3%, but we had a company that set the price target. They kept the rating the same, but they set the price target from like $62 to $68. So of course, PayPal stock price dropped, right? Because that makes fucking sense. Everything's made sense lately. Today though, it was up 1%. So a little bit of love. How much money did I make off of PayPal? Any PayPal money? $2,800. You know what? I'll fucking take it because it's been a worthless pile of shit in my portfolio. I mean, I lost a little bit on this play, but here's the thing. It's not a big deal, guys. This is why I rotated into 2026. I put $348,000 into this play, and I've got 68 left. I mean, it kind of sucks losing $280,000, but I don't think in the end that's going to be the way it is. I could be wrong, and if it turns to dust, I don't really give a fuck. I'll have about 170 to 180,000 here soon in January 2026. Those will pay out. At the worst case scenario, I barely end up making money from PayPal a year and a half from now. If that happens, I'm fine. But I still think there's opportunity here. I still think it's going to turn around. I still think they're fucking executing like all these other companies are, right? They've all done well. PayPal did well. Square did well. SoFi, arguably well. There's some like underlying stuff there too that you could argue about. And I think Hood is stealing some thunder from SoFi, but whatever. Square, just an amazing company in every possible way. And Tesla is doing great. Tesla crushed it for this last earnings, considering they weren't selling a bunch of cars. No other car company did it close to as good as they are, and their margins are getting ready to explode. By the way, Mara is coming back, 0.25%. Let's look at the guidance on Mara and Cleanspark. I didn't even go over that. Let's go over that real quick. So estimates going forward. Again, I said Cleanspark sandbag. Zach and his team, the CEO, sandbag this quarter. And you can see that right here. And Cleanspark's up 2.5% in after hours right now. And I think Bitcoin's getting ready to pop, so they'll probably go up even more. But just look at this. You can see they're sandbagging. They're not showing any revenue growth at all, guys. That's not true. That's not what's going to happen. Bitcoin will go up. And as they go up, you're going to see this go up too. And so they'll have to constantly be revised higher. Analysts will constantly be chasing the stock, and they'll be pushing it higher. And look, Mara's doing the same playbook, guys. They're a little more optimistic, but they're basically flat on their revenue estimates. That is the gameplay that you want right now. Here's what sucks about Mara. Look at revenue per employee. Look at what it was doing in 2020. Look at what it's done more recently. And then when you compare that to a company like Cleanspark that's properly run, and it just looks way different. Now, let me see over here. Do we have revenue per employee? Am I tripping? Am I missing it? Or is it under ratios? My bad. Look at this. So here's the difference, guys. Look at the revenue per employee for Cleanspark. Look at how much more efficient they are. This is a great metric for miners, by the way, especially miners. Some businesses, but a lot of miners. They're making about, what is it? $70,000. So $70 million. What? No, that can't be right. I'm not reading something right. Maybe it's 70. Yeah, I don't know. They're making a lot when you compare them. I got to figure out what the metric. But yeah, I think it's 70,000 right now per employee. But then look over here. Look over here at per employee for Mara. They're way the fuck down here, okay? So you can tell how inefficient they are. Again, I've been saying it, they're just not a well-run company, but they got a huge stack of Bitcoin. People will value companies for Bitcoin mining this cycle based upon how big is your stack and how well are you run and how well are you expanding. It's all about that. That's all they care about. They want to see you diluting with equity and building up a huge fucking stack while expanding aggressively, preferably doing it before the end of the cycle like Cypher is planning on doing. You don't add the bulk of your stack at the end of the cycle. It's fucking stupid. All right, anyway, we got more stuff. Let's talk about SoFi. Does anything interesting happen with SoFi? I don't know. You guys got anything? Throw it in chat if you got something interesting. I mean, here's the thing. It's about to get over the fib, right? I don't hate that. We're looking at the monthly time frame here. We're getting close to this fib level. I'd like to see it close above it. I'd like to see us get above peak volumes. You got to realize, what's your downside risk on this company? They're already down 75% from their high several years ago, right? So maybe we end up popping. I think we're going to pop. I've still got a bunch of 2025s. They kind of suck too. They suck less than PayPal sucks. Yay. Square. And then I'm getting close. I'll get to some of your guys' requests in a second. That's what I do for anybody who's new here. At the end of this, I go over my stocks and then I go over your stock requests and I look at them from a financial level and a technical level to tell you what I think of them. That's how it works. And if you're a member, you can chat and then ask for stuff. And if you're a higher member, you get to ask for more. Whoops, I hit a button. Nope, still Square. Good. Okay, so Square up 2.8%. Looks good. Needs to get over this hump in volume right over here. If it does that, guys, if we get above like 82 again and we're above this downward resistance line that we couldn't stay above over here back in March, it's game on, man. And we could run till, again, that 200 moving average at 127. A lot of these, Robinhood, PayPal, SoFi, Square, I think these things run into the second half of the year, maybe heading into Q3. I think they start to run pretty hard. That's my bet. And I could be wrong. And I've been saying this for a while. But again, Square did all right? Square did all right. From the bottom, I made a decent amount off of this too. Went from $39 to $88. That's a good run, right? I made hundreds of percent off of Square. I think it was only like 200 or 300%. So I can't hate that one, right? Like, you can't hate it. Palantir. How's Palantir? And again, like and join. If you guys join, it's going to be $1.99 starting the end of this week. I'm going to switch the pay plan. So if you're a starter pack and you want to do a stock request, you pay $1.99 a month to be a part of that and to be able to chat. All right, so the fib line. You can see this fib line right here. We're underneath of it right now in Palantir. I said for a while, I don't know, if this continues to trade down like this, we could actually get a bounce and go up to the 200 moving average in the 2200 or 22 range. But there's also a decent chance on Palantir, that we can still, we're under the 100 moving average on the daily time frame. There's a chance we just close this thing down. I don't have volumes in here. Let me just add them real quick. The visible range volume profile. This shows where the volumes were at a particular price point. You can see a big gap under here, guys. So we could drop to like 20. And then, honestly, we could drop to the 200 moving average where we start to find support. And even if things really get bad, down to the 18. Now, we don't have to stop at the 18. We could stop at like 19, where the 200 is, or at 20, right? Like, I just buy the whole way down. People say don't catch a falling knife. I catch falling knives and asymmetric opportunities that are going to do great in the future. That's my take on it. So I don't mind catching falling knives. I actually quite enjoy it. I just have to be patient, right? Like sometimes I have to wait years for the falling knife to pay off. So as long as your expectations are clear. Arc Genomics up 2% almost on the day and then up 0.52 an after hour. Here's what I like. If I look at Arc Genomics, I like the fact that we're above this resistance line again, turning it into support where we broke down here recently. And if we look at the weekly, it's a little bit even cleaner. So you can see how we couldn't turn it into support over here. And this thing goes way back, right? Like it's a very clean line. But you can see how we couldn't turn it into support right here. Then we did turn it into support for a little bit here, and then we just crashed underneath, but now we're finding it as support. The more we find this as support, if we can get above like the 28 range and then turn peak volumes into support and then get above 31. If we get above 31, I mean, we're running. We're going to run. We're at least going to test the 35. And I honestly think that before the end of the year, we hit 47 in SoFi. That's my take, guys. Flux, again, I got to look at the conference call. I probably won't do that till tomorrow. I might cheat and look at what Rex has to say. They got obliterated. This is why I keep these positions small. This was only like $40,000 or $35,000 for me, which is dick. It's like 2% or less. I think I got to update my portfolio allocation, but it's not a lot of my portfolio. If we look over here, actually, and this is a little bit, this needs a little bit of updating. This is my portfolio allocation for anybody who's new here. So I have recently sold some Cypher over here, and then I turned that into more CLSK and then Mara, which you could barely even see on here. And then some things have moved around, right? So I need to update it. I try to update it once a week now. I was shooting for every day, but I just can't. I don't have time. Anyway, 47 for SoFi. Yeah, I think by the end of the year. Yeah, I think it could. Right? Am I looking at this right? Let me go back. Oh, no, my bad. Did I say SoFi? I didn't mean SoFi. I meant ArcG. ArcG, my bad. No. Not SoFi. Arc Genomics. Sorry, I go through so many charts. It gets a little crazy. So definitely call it out. No, for SoFi, my bad. Here's what I think SoFi does. I think we get to $12 and test that again. And that is 68% upside from where we're at. Yeah, sorry. That's a crazy fucking number. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry. All right, and then DLO. Let me do DLO. This is another one I have. So Flux got destroyed. I'll update you guys tomorrow on the market recap on what happened with that one and what my thoughts are about it. So I'll summarize that. I'll summarize Mara. I'll let you guys know any other thoughts I have in regard to miners, like usual. DLO, down 2% on the day, still struggling. This is the one I wanted to add more to for my options. I think they're down about 40%, and they're January 2026s. If you look right over here, they're 35 strike, January 16th, 2026, and it's down 39%. And I love that. I've only got 29,000 in it. I put 45. I'll probably look to double this because this is a Latin American company. And for the people that have seen it, they have tons of growth. And it's just, I think it's a great company. And I think it's being undervalued just because of macroeconomic risks around the world, which I don't think are going to play out right away. And so I think these guys have 59% revenue growth year over year, 53% profit growth year over year, a 16.37 forward PE. And if you look at all these charts, they just show growth. No real share dilution to speak of. Estimates look good going forward. Activity is fine. Like institutional ownership started to tick up last quarter. Not a lot of short interest. There's just a lot of really positive things for this company. And you can see the growth across all the markets they're in. Brazil, Mexico, Nigeria, Africa, Asia, Latin America, Argentina, Chile. It's just I like this company. I think they're great. And so again, like I've said, I'm looking to acquire more of this, looking to acquire more Square, looking to acquire more Robinhood. These are the big ones that I want to put more money into, but I really need something to take off for that to happen. I need it to be Tesla. I need one of these asymmetric bets that can give me 10 to 20x. I need them to take off so I can funnel money to the other ones. That's how I made 700% last year. It was from Rob and Peter to pay Paul. I made a shit ton off of Meta. I sold the Meta calls. I made 500-600% over a short period of time. And then I moved that into Palantir. I also made a shit ton off of Tesla in 2022 to 2023. And then I sold those calls and I put that stuff into Palantir as well and into SoFi and some of these others. And I've made a lot of money. I made 500 to 600 off of Robinhood. I made several 100% off of Square. I made 600% roughly off of Palantir. I don't remember the exact amount I made off of Palantir, but I made over $600,000 off of Palantir. So that one turned out really good. And I've been doing well since. I made a bunch of money off of Matterport when they got bought out and people bought them overnight. Again, there's a decent amount of wins. People don't like to look at them. They like to look at like PayPal or something I haven't done well on. I'm down about 20% so far this year. I made 700 last year. I'm sorry if you can't deal with 20% down. If you're similarly allocated like I am, when you get 700% up the year before, then you're in the wrong fucking business and you should do something else. Maybe get a hobby. Mountain biking's nice. Anyway, I think I got a lot of the big stock stuff done. I'm going to look at your guys' request and try and do something here. So Mara is now down 0.61%, and Cleanspark is still up about 2%. I haven't looked at Bitcoin. Maybe it's doing something. All right, let me go through comments. I'm going to start at the top and see what kind of stocks you guys have. See what I could look at here. And again, tomorrow there's no earnings. Thank God. So tomorrow will be a big day for the stock requests, guys. That'll be the day I get caught up. I know I'm behind right now. I'm going to do a couple here right now, but I'm probably not going to do a huge list, and I do apologize, but I will get back into it again tomorrow in a big way, I promise you. All right, so let's. The first one I see here is. Oh no, somebody wrote smash. That's not a stock. I thought it was a dollar symbol. Okay, Cameron. Yeah, if you could smash the likes if you're still here. Cameron Dane Scott. Dollar symbol ASTS. If you get a chance, no worries if not. I think that was the first one in the list unless I missed one. So I'm going to start with that. Let's look at financials first because I think that's just a good way to do it. It's good to understand what the company's financials look like. And if they're good, or if the company's really oversold or something, if the stars align, then it's like, okay, well, let's do a deeper dive. ASTS is AST Space Mobile. It sounds like a horrible business because it's space, and space is fucking hard. But I'll look at it. $604 million is what the market cap is for this company. They have no revenue whatsoever since Q4 of 2022, which means they're making absolutely no fucking money. They got a cool name. I like space, but you could be SpaceX and delivering 90% of the payload by weight to the entire fucking world. Or you could be every other company that's failing in space. And so here's the thing. Unless you know these people and you know how this person's Rocket Man and how they're going to make all this money, they've got estimates that they're going to make more. Could that be true? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much they revised their estimates. They did buy back their stock. If we look at insider buying here, we can see they really thought their stock was undervalued in Q2 of 2021. Institutional ownership has increased a little bit, but short interest has increased too. It's up to 15% now. So they think either this company is going to live or it's going to die. And here's what I don't fucking like about companies like this. The operating expenses are growing much higher and there's no revenue. The revenue has dropped and your expenses are going up. You know what that tells me? You're going to die. It tells me you're going to die. And when I see your cash position dropping and I see your debts not dropping or going up potentially, it scares me when I see share dilution along with that. This just looks like a fucking money grab, man. I'm not even going to pull up the ticker. I think it's a bullshit company and I wouldn't touch it unless you know something, Cameron. I don't. If you know that this is a real company, they're getting ready to crush it, why they're getting ready to crush it, great, tell me. Otherwise, get the fuck out. That's my take. This is what you pay for, guys. Whether you like it or not. Concord. Looking forward to the Cleanspark call? Me too. It was good. But guidance will mean the most. Just look at Cypher. Guidance was shit on Cleanspark, but it was execution that mattered because they're still up 2%. Execution was non-existent for Mara. And Cypher, again, Cypher's, though, their guidance was just shit. That's why. The guidance with these guys was flat, right? They didn't really go anywhere. They're just flat to slightly up. But Cypher literally told us they're not really going to aggressively start building hash until the middle of 2025. So we got to wait another fucking year for them to really grow. That's stupid. And that's why I've only got like 110,000 in them right now. DougieFresh69, share your chart on your X account. Easy peasy. Hey, Jesse, can you check out, maybe if I get that far. DougieFresh69, I wish I could send a pic in my chart. Yeah, sorry. I locked down links in chat, guys, because I don't want scammers fucking getting people to click on shit and stealing all their crypto or something. So I can't do that. I might be able to make it where maybe I can do like trusted ones where people like Intelligent Computing, Dougie Fresh, and like people that are here all the time where I give you the ability to. I'll dig into it. I just don't want people fucking people, man. That's not why I'm here. Good day, everyone. Love that that Jesse gives me a little laugh as soon as I sign in. Hit the like. Yeah, what was it from me? Just like an idiot, not even fucking knowing that my stream was on. That was cool. Hey, it's good times. All right, Lisa Marie, good day, everyone. Love, oh yeah, okay, that was you. Concord, Solana, looking very strong today. Yeah, it is, actually. Shit, that's a good point. Let's look at the chart on Solana. I want to see how, you know what, let's do this. Let's look at some crypto bubbles. And you know we're playing some little bubble today on the outro, man, because that boy's crushing it. So I just got to say, risk on, man. Render was doing good today. Look at this Pepe, stupid fucking frog. Hex, scammer coin. Don't own this shit. It's trash. I mean, a lot of these are trash, but the trash is going up, guys. Great sign. It's a great sign when trash goes up. It lets you know that we're becoming more risk on. I love that. Have you thought about selling calls on MSTR when the stock chart starts getting crazy? Nah, not really. I'll probably just own the stock. I'm keeping it simple on Bitcoin-related investments. I bought all my calls when everything was low and before they started just screaming higher. So I made a shit ton of money. I should have left more on the table. But I already made a ton of money. That's partially how I made 700% last year, guys. So I'm keeping it really fucking simple right now. I might sell covered calls eventually. That's probably the play that I'm going to do. When I think we peaked, I'm probably going to start fucking playing around with covered calls. And then maybe, is it Biddy? It's Biddy. Biddy is a short fund on Bitcoin. I'll probably start exiting my multiplier stuff, like my miners and the shit coins. And then I'll be jumping into like a little bit of Biddy and some covered calls. That's the thought. Intelligent computing. Your chat cut off a bunch for the top. The first comment was someone asking about selling Cypher or Riot or something like that. My chat turned? Oh, sorry. My bad. I'll figure that. You know what? Tomorrow's going to be better on the chat, guys. Tomorrow's going to be better. We're just kind of writing this one off, okay? Dougie Fresh 69. Maybe Jesse could pull his up and look at what he sees. What were we talking about? What did you want me to pull up and see? And I'm kind of bouncing between current chat and the beginning so I can make sure not to miss stuff, just so you guys know. All right, Alex Garcia, they should change earnings season and earnings calls to guidance season and guidance calls. I posted a meme about that I saw that was great. You're live. What was that noise? I don't know. Lisa Marie, good day, everyone. Love that you... Oh, I already did that one. Let's go down. Bullish engulfing bar is forming on the daily BTC. There's so many bullish things. I kind of went through that earlier. Skip Mara. Mike Pepper says there was a 10% arbitrage opportunity between U.S. and Asia in the metals pricing. Interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of volatility in arbitrage, but it's going to be up to the upside, guys. Across a lot of things. Hierarchy 420. Hey, Jesse, hit the like. Yes, hit the like. Intelligent computing. Jesse, could you boost the gain on your... Oh, and I did that. Okay. Give me 10 Bitcoin. No, Silas. Chris Federal. Cleanspark buying to mining location in Wyoming. Yep, posted about that. AMD call options were looking juicy today. I have not looked at AMD in a bit. I'll have to check that a little bit. I should look at chips again, too, and see what they look like. Let me just click again one more time. Didn't really pay too close attention. I knew NVIDIA was down. AMD was down. Let's see what NVIDIA looks like. Or, I'm sorry, AMD. So AMD actually looks like it's in a consolidation pattern. You can see where it's sitting above previous resistance levels. And there's just a ton of volume underneath. So AMD actually looks pretty good. I wonder what... Let's go back here. Wonder what NVIDIA looks like for the chart. Just real quick. NVIDIA looks great. You got this tweezer bottom right here. This looks fucking great, guys. This looks like a rocket ship ready to go to the moon, honestly. Anyway, let's keep going. Same, not a Trumper at all. I'm not, but I'll probably end up voting for him. I might do Kennedy. I don't know. I really don't care, guys. I just don't want it to be somebody who's anti-Elon, anti the greatest companies in the world, anti-business, anti-growth. I want somebody who believes in immigration, but in legal immigration, and helps refine that process to where we're getting the best and brightest into this country. And I want somebody who believes in Bitcoin, and I want somebody who treats really great companies well, that doesn't literally, what the fuck? There was something else about Tesla today, another lawsuit or some bullshit. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm so fucking disgusted with all the stuff. You know, maybe I will for a second. So Tesla down 1.57% on the day. What's the bullshit of the day, guys? What are we going after Elon Musk for now? Let's look. Tesla interfered with union organizing at New York plant, U.S. agency claims. Do you think that's fucking Biden? Do you think that's Biden? The union guy? Do you think he's the one going after this again? The same one that refuses to recognize Tesla as the leading EV manufacturer of the world, the same one that has the Department of Justice suing Elon for like SpaceX for not hiring illegal fucking immigrants, which they're not allowed to do by law. The same guy that's, you know, using the SEC as a weapon to be able to go after Elon for his fucking tweets. Like, this is all the same shit, guys. And I don't make the rules on politics, but I watch how the people execute them, and they can fuck off when they do shit like this. And again, there's some things I like about Biden. I like his heavy-handedness against China. The conservatives all told me that he wouldn't be heavy-handed with China, which is fucking hilarious because he has been. Just like Trump. Those are two things that both of those guys have actually done right. So they can do some things. At least they can be tough on China at the appropriate time. And now China is fucked. So China's got to come back begging to us. That's a good thing. So at least these idiots can do something right. Anyway, sorry. Let me move on. Ugh. I think Grayscale withdrew the ETH ETF. They did. Yep. Yeah, ETH isn't doing super great. Again, Solana's doing better. And I didn't even pull up Solana. Whatever. It's doing great. Let's look at it real quick. You know what? I do want to look at Sol in my charts. Because I actually think this is a great sign of what's coming in the crypto space, guys. I'm expecting to more than double my money. So I think I'm going to make about $1.25 million off the crypto space in the next like 3 to 4 months. That's my rough gauge. It's what I expect. Now, again, look at this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We had resistance on the fib. We broke through it. We had resistance here on the fib. We retraced. We couldn't drop far enough. We went back up. We immediately broke through it. We didn't get to the golden retracement zone because we hit some previous volume over here. Again, from a technical standpoint, this is not crazy. And then we found support perfectly on the fib again, and now we're getting ready to roll up higher. We're going up. We're going up. Law, you're lucky. You're not political. Ben the Optimist will be doing a lot of the jobs. Unions at Tesla will be moot soon enough. Yeah, they will. They will. They'll be moot because there'll be fucking robots replacing them. So you won't have to worry about that. And you can't literally fight with efficiency gains in corporations. Here's the thing. The Republicans hate taxing corporations, but the really big mega corporations, especially the ones that are tied with AI and robotics and that are just going to be able to print fucking money, they're going to have to pay a higher tax burden, guys, because they're going to be money printers. They are the new money printers. The Fed will have to stop being the money printer. AI, robotics, and autonomy will be the fucking money printer. Innovation will be the money printer. Genomics will be the money printer. That's the money printer of the future, and it will enrich very powerful people. And that will be the time. Those will be the people that should pay a higher tax burden and then help the underclass. But we need to balance that shit out. We can't just tax the fuck out of corporations, call them the bad guys, after the government's printed 40% of the fucking money that's ever existed in this country's history since the pandemic. You can't blame that on Elon Musk. He didn't fucking do it. So we need politicians that can recognize what's coming, and both the right and left are right and wrong. We need to find people in the middle that aren't fucking idiots and know what they're talking about, ideally. And or ignore the idiots and punish them when they're wrong. But find some people with vision, like Elon Musk. I wish to God he wasn't an African. He's an African American. You can't put African Americans in the presidency, guys. The Democrats don't like it. Sorry, I'm so anti-Democrat lately. But I'm not really, guys. I hate all of them. I hate them all. Anyway. Wow. I'm in a ranty fucking mood today. Sorry. All right, Mark LeBlanc. Both Canada and the U.S. must flush the political toilet ASAP. Yes, they should. The bullshit Trudeau. I used to like Trudeau, too. He's an idiot. Hey, Trudeau, are you going to get prosecuted retroactively for your blackface that you did when you were at a party and pretended to be a black man? Is that a hate crime? Is somebody going to put you in prison for that? Because I heard that people's words and actions now, if they offend people, can be a fucking hate crime that's punishable with jail time. I don't know what screams democracy or freedom about that. So fuck you too. Sorry. Sorry. All right. Anyway. Yeah, we do need to flush some. We need to flush some toilets. A lot of toilets. We need to get rid of all the old fuckers and all the communists. And we need to allow people the ability to be able to custody their own money and not have it be illegal or dangerous for their own good. You can't have your own fucking money and decide what is value. Yeah, that's for our own good, right? Right? It's not just because we don't know how to balance budgets. It's not just because we don't even give a fuck about that anymore. It's not because we believe in modern monetary theory, MMT, and we think that we can just print all the time because some dipshit economic advisor to the president doesn't even know how the bond and treasury market work. And you need to be telling us, the SEC needs to tell us what value is and where we should be putting our fucking money. No, thank you. God, I'm in a mood. I think I'm going to end on this, guys. I'm sorry. Tomorrow I will be better. I promise you guys, okay? Tomorrow, and maybe this was good too, but tomorrow I will be better as far as going over the stock requests. I just got some stuff to get off my chest. I have too much stupidity in the world today. It needs to go away. We need to support companies that are doing the right thing and support people that are doing the right thing with our capital. And if we do that, we'll make the world a better fucking place. And you know what happens when the world's a better place? We make more fucking money too. So it's kind of a win-win. It's the new style of investing, and everybody should fucking be doing it. Anyway, I think I'm done. Peace out. I love you guys. You take it easy, okay? Bye.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto.
Last year, cryptocurrency funded every kind of dangerous criminal.
But I would not touch crypto in a million years.
Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm done now.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
People are losing money in scams and huckster flim-flam artists.
These people who own these things should not own your money in any of those. I do think you're an idiot, okay? It's over!
Go fuck yourself.
What do you do? Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. What do you do? Is that clear?
What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay? Right, like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, but we can all look Bitcoin sort of as
forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor.
We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay?
Well, well, well. You know what time it is. Whew. We back, baby. Bitcoins, shitcoins, or NFTs. There's no greater feeling than hitting that sweet. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky. We just buy and get rich. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby. We just buy and get rich. Get running back. We back in the black. We back in the green. Got the team all around me. We rowdy and causing scenes. Where you been? Grab a cup, baby. Come and take a sip. Oh my bad, yo, what's up? Man, you didn't buy the dip. Oh, that's rough. Oh, that's tough. Oh, that's really gotta suck. Only problem that we got is that we didn't buy enough. Man, I joke. Man, I kid. Know exactly what we did. Now we pull up in the whip. Cause we just hit. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky. We just buy and get rich. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby. We just buy and get rich. Got my family on the phone, they asking what they should buy. I say a time machine to take you back to when I was trying to get you buying on the low. Instead you trying to buy high. I guess it's time for me to sell this shit and wave it goodbye. Like sayonara, I don't wanna be stuck there with the bag. Don't be mad, I'm just saying I'm taking some of the cash that we stacked up, baby, cause we out of here. As we blast up straight into the stratosphere. Right through the old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky, we just buy and get rich. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby, we just buy and get rich. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky, we just buy and get rich. Old time high, old time high, old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby, we just buy and get rich. Once again.
With time, a seed becomes a tree, sheltering us. With time, a skill becomes a talent, empowering us. With time, a technology becomes a tool, enhancing us. By nature, time gives value to almost everything, yet the very thing our society gives value to, our money, loses value over time. This paradox warps our reality by defying the laws of nature, and it stems from the belief that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. Meaning money must always lose value. We built our reality off of this model. Time value of money, we call it, but in reality, this is just dogma. Since we can keep making more of it, we end up destroying our own purchasing power. So we put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in land, put it in funds, put it in crypto, put it in gold. But we are not oracles, so what do we know? We know that it's hard to get by. We know some people may never retire. Is time value of money a lie since it discounts the monetary value of our time? If time is money, how are they moving in different directions? We're working longer for less, we end up just giving away our freedom. Give up liberty for policies, give up our agency to the authorities. Because when our foundation is built on complexity, we simplify humans by giving up our humanity. Reality check, we've strayed too far from the truth. The world economy's a wreck when 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. And if life's created from the truth, along the way something got screwed. And we let our own dogma subjectify value. We divorce action from consequence. We defy the law of physics when we make scarcity infinite. We disregard the language of mathematics. So our systems are built in a fallacy. Our society's based in a fantasy. In the absence of truth, we're living in the shadows of our own reality. And that's the root problem. Man-made rules can be broken. As our trust crumbles, so does the progress of our civilization. But one thing remains constant: no one can cheat nature. So why not use it to architect a stronger base layer? The most beautiful buildings engineered based on these consequences. Natural law drives rigor needed to build something enduring, uncompromising on principles that accounts for the flaws. Because when our lives are at stake, the gravity of truth cannot be ignored. So our monetary systems were designed like structures. It would embody energy and matter so the money itself matters. An unbreakable limit enforced by costliness of creation ensures the structure holds value for many generations. A rule-based system governed by maths builds a transparent ecosystem that can self-error correct. With no one in charge, no words are taken as fact. Only work from computation can actualize truth of timestamps, and like water flowing off a cliff. Down the path of gravity, computational energy makes time flow one way only. It is this irreversibility which gives value to our money by upholding consensus and scarcity to create one shared reality. Now the map is the territory. Now we're working with high fidelity. Now money is truthfully time and energy bound by finality. Now we have the ability to manifest each of our dreams and build a world that is much more reflective of all of our needs. And that's the purpose of money, merely a tool to shape our reality, merely a function to harness and express individuality, just a way to live freely, just a means for possibility. Because when we build on integrity, we enhance the beauty of humanity. The most beautiful societies are built from diversity of our thoughts that come to life when we're empowered individually. Because when our money tomorrow is worth more than today, we shift from predicting to creating the future ourselves. And when our money grows in value, we grow thoughtful in how we use it. Natural law drives rigor needed to fund something enduring, something truly worth it, something that pushes the sky's limit, something only possible when our real value and consequence exist in boundless virtual dimensions. Imagine potential creations, fueled by monetary life force, lasting for many generations. We will venture into new territories and unleash these possibilities once we learn to embrace the truth of our reality.
This is one potential future, and I think it's brought by Bitcoin. Love you guys. Have a good day.